Well, good morning, Upstate South Carolina. Hello, America. What up, world? Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. What is happening, y'all? Great to be with you on a beautiful Upstate Wednesday afternoon, or wherever it is that you are listening to us around the cities, around the state, around the country, around the world, as we are, of course, international, with listeners in Germany, and Iceland, and Denmark, and Ireland. We know for a fact. Who knows where else? I am Rob Brown. Alongside me today, as he is every day, the guy that's in charge of the broadcast. We sound this good because he makes it that way. He is the professor of perfection. Hashtag dad kicks, Colonel Grudge, the alpha and the omega of the Fan Upstate. He is the great one, Lonzo. What up, Zoe?
I just realized it's time to go get some new cans.
Yeah? Are you buzzing over there?
No, they're cutting in and out.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's not good. I have to admit.
How long have we had that pair before we stick him into the retirement home?
2 years, maybe?
That's not a bad run. It's not a bad run.
Considering the use that they, get out of them.
Considering they got to carry my voice into your ears every day, that's a solid run. 2 years. I'm sorry, I'm watching Ja Morant because Ja Morant decided in the fourth quarter of that game last night to do Ja Morant things. That's a game winner, Lonzo.
So
that's a game winner.
I tuned in for the last 4 minutes of that game. That was a wonderful 4 minutes to watch because he was amazing.
Ja was unbelievable. I was texting, as a matter of fact, I was texting with Keegan because that game ran long, right? That game ran long, and I was waiting for NOLA Phoenix Game 5 out in the Valley of the Sun. So that game comes on TNT, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna push the start of New Orleans taking on Phoenix in Arizona over to NBA TNT, or excuse me, onto NBA TV here on TNT. We're gonna stick with the end of the Memphis game, Memphis and Minnesota." Well, at this point, I'm looking, and the T-Wolves are hanging on to like a 12-point lead with 2 minutes left to play. And I'm texting with Keegan, and Keegan's like, "Yo, Ja is just not himself tonight. Ja's just not the guy tonight." And ordinarily, Ja is a dude. So I'm like, all right, let me pop on over to NBA on TNT. Ordinarily, if that's a competitive game, right, I will stick out the end of the Memphis-Minnesota game and miss the first 4 or 5 minutes of the Phoenix-New Orleans game. But at that point, it didn't even look like a game. It looked like the T-Wolves were going to go ahead and put Memphis, put the Grizz down last night. And Ja Morant at this point was like, 3 of 18 from the floor. Just was not the guy. So I flipped it over. And as I'm watching NBA TV and watching the first quarter of the Pelicans-Suns game, they've got the little score bug up in the right-hand corner, and finally it flashes to indicate the game's gone final, and I look up, 111-109 Grizz over the T-Wolves, and Keegan texts me and goes, "Welp, Ja Morant decided to show out."
So you turned away from that game?
Sure did.
Wow.
Sure did.
I get that they were up that much, so you thought it was over. Man, you missed a good last couple minutes. You really did. That was and I had just watched NXT, so I was turning over to watch some of the Pelicans game because I knew you'd be talking about it, and that's how I caught the end of the game, and I was like, oh, okay, there's another shot. There's another. Ooh, this is getting good.
Yeah, I made a mistake. I decided to get away from it, and I'm watching. Ja, with the underhanded scoop and score, left-handed layup through contact with 2.4 left on the clock, gets it off. Ja Morant's the guy, right?
So if this, and I'm curious about this, if your team's getting ready to play on it as yours was, if it was a close game, would you have stuck with it?
Yeah.
Or do you just automatically, I want to see my team. I know this is a good game, but I want to see my team.
If it's a 1-point game and it looks like Ja's the guy, I stick around. I don't need to watch the first 5 minutes. Let's be real. If an NBA game is going to be competitive, the last 5 minutes are what matters. And I'm not saying that as a reason not to watch full NBA games. I watched the overwhelming majority of Memphis v. Minnesota. But it just got to the point that it looked like the T-Wolves were about to cook the Grizz. So I checked out. By the time I turned away, it was like a 12-point lead in favor of Minnesota. By the time that I checked out to head on over to Phoenix to watch the beginning of that one, Ja Morant was I don't know, 25% from the floor, 20% from the floor. It was like, no, there's no reason to stick around here. If Ja's not going to take over, soon as I flipped away, Ja Morant turned into Ja Morant and went bananas.
This is where people who are superstitious will ask you to never watch
a Ja game again.
Yeah, don't watch him. You can watch everybody else, but don't watch him.
Don't you wish your forward was a baller like him? Don't Ja. I do. Ja Morant's the guy. What do you want? All right, we're going to talk about that later on in the show. Speaking of, as we continue with the NBA playoffs, what? I asked you earlier in the week, Lonzo, and I ask you again. The Miami Heat were missing not one, but two starters and still dispatched the Atlanta Hawks in their best of seven. Kyle Lowry got sidelined in the third quarter of Game 3 with a left hammy. Jimmy Buckets was in street clothes because he had inflammation in his right knee. So, Victor Oladipo, who appeared in 96 of 309 regular season games the past 4 years due to injuries. Max Struss, who I think I'm pronouncing his name right, but was undrafted and had appeared in a total of 2 games with his first 2 NBA teams. Both picked up the slack. Oladipo had more points in the first 5 minutes of the first quarter than he had in the first 4 games of the series, ended with 23. Struss, I'm assuming, finished 15 points and went on a personal 10-0 run by himself from the 2:29 mark of the second quarter until a $1:22 left in the half, turning a 1-point Miami deficit into a 9-point cushion that the Heat pushed to 12 by the break. Dear Atlanta, the hell, dude?
Here's what it is. Eric Spoelstra's tan is so good that they would go down the lane and they would just look at his tan and forget to play basketball.
Get distracted?
Yeah.
Brick. I don't know, man. It's the NBA. When they have a starter go down, it's supposed to be a big door open. When they are missing not one, but 2 starters. And, oh, by the way, their best 2 starters, right? Those are number 1 and number 2 options for the Miami Heat. Both of them out. And the Atlanta Hawks still collapsed. What happened, Atlanta? Here's the frustrating part for me. I went and watched this team play last year, Lonzo, against the 76ers. Joel Embiid and the process came to the ATL. I went and watched them play. And I was actually with my buddy Brandon from down in Destin, big ATL sports guy, big Hawks guy. He called me over. We went to the match, went to the game, got done. I was like, hey, B, this team is going to be good for a while. They've got fight. They've got heart. they're missing a piece or two. They find that guy, and the Hawks are going to be around for a minute. My bad. Got that one wrong. Because the Hawks in this postseason showed no fight, showed no grit, showed no nothing. It was embarrassing. It was flat out embarrassing. Atlanta looked like they had better use of their time elsewhere and decided to focus on, I don't know, reality TV. Maybe some of them are working on some home and garden projects at the house they wanted to get back in time for. You know, Lowe's closes at 10 in Atlanta. Maybe they could hit the Lowe's on the way home. I don't know. What I do know is that to me, though, Atlanta looked like they had zero interest in moving on to the second round of the NBA playoffs.
It's warm out, man. Got to hit the beach.
I guess. There's no beach in Atlanta, though.
There is when you're an NBA player. There's a beach all over the world.
I guess. They were thinking, man, if we get out of here in time, we can hit Magic City on the way home. Get some lemon pepper wings. Lou Williams told us they were good. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. It drives me nuts. Well, there's no fight out of a team. None. And Atlanta had no fight, which I don't want to say about them. I liked watching them play. Listen, I just like the Atlanta Falcons, not Atlanta sports as a whole. I'm a Braves fan. I wanted the Hawks to be good. I like Trae Young. But Trae was awful in this series. And you can give it the credit. You can give the credit to Miami for knowing how to shut the guy down. Lonzo, Trae Young made 22 field goals in the 5 games. He turned the ball over 30 times.
Wait. In 5 games, that's all he made?
5 games, made 22 field goals and 30 turnovers. 30 turnovers, 22 buckets. That is, what's the word I'm looking for here, Alonzo? Bad. That's bad.
Definitely not good at all.
No. Young averaged 15.4 against Miami, which is a 13 points per game decrease from the regular season. Responsible for 13 fewer points in the playoffs per game than he was in the regular season. That's unacceptable, man. That's unacceptable. It can't be that way. Trae, my guy, what happened? And, of course, in the only game we have not talked about, Suns Pelicans, Phoenix now up 3 games to 2, headed back to NOLA for game number 6. 112-97 winners were the Suns over the Pelicans. Jonas Valanciunas, 17 points for the Pels, 14 rebounds. Had a good night. Here's the thing that's crazy about that game. I don't know if it was pretty late, so I don't know if you got to watch any of it, Zoe. It was certainly past my bedtime, but I stayed up anyway.
Admittedly, I had it on, and it was grandpa time.
Not mad about that.
No, I mean, I went to sleep.
Yeah, no,
I had it on, and I was gone.
Here's what frustrated the hell out of me about that game. The Suns had everything going right for them. Everything going right. The Pelicans had nothing going right. Everything was going wrong for them. So, your boy, about midway through the third quarter, Lonzo, decided, you know what? I'm going to go in the back. I'm going to put this on in bed, and I'm just going to use it to fall asleep because we're getting our asses handed to us. So I go in the back, and I'm laying there listening to the game to fall asleep. And as I do, I hear, and there's the steal from CP3, passes it ahead, and the slam Another field goal for the Suns. And then I roll over because I'm like, all right, what's the score now? Like 130-10. And I look over. Lonzo, the Pelicans are down 8 with like 4.5 minutes left to play.
That's doable.
Yeah. The roof is coming off of the arena there at Phoenix. Marv Albert sounds like he's about to stroke out with everything the Suns are doing. I mean, they're knocking down threes. They're getting steals. They're getting transition buckets. They're playing good defense. Everything's going right for Phoenix. Everything's going right for the Suns. And then I roll over and look at the score, and it's Suns by 8 with 4.5 to play. I'm like, how? How? So I stick around. I stay on. Anyway, last 45 seconds, the Pelicans just basically get to the point where they're jacking up threes for the point of trying to chip away at the lead and are missing them. Look, it's a real simple equation. It's a real simple equation. The Suns shot 50% from the floor. The Pels shot 40%. The Suns shot 37% from behind the arc. The Pels shot 20%. That's it. That's the equation, right? Lonzo, when it comes down to, if you have two really, really good basketball teams going at it, and everything else is equal, the team that shoots better from the floor wins. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, that's how that works in any sport.
Yeah. You could give me, like, I could sit here and come up with a lot of analysis about what went right and what went wrong and what got sideways and what didn't. But at the end of the day, the Pels shot 80 times. The Suns shot 86. The Suns shot more. They made more. The Pels shot 25 threes. The Suns shot 27. They made more. The only place the Pelicans shot more was at the free throw line, which makes sense because Phoenix is a very aggressive team defensively under the basket. It's been that way all series. I don't expect it to change. But New Orleans now has to go back home, has to take advantage of being back in Smoothie King Arena for Game 6, has to win that game, and they better figure out what was causing them to miss shots in Phoenix if they want a chance at pulling the upset in 7. They won't. They'll lose in 7. But I got to tell you, Zoe, for a team that started the year 0-12, for a team that has not had Zion at all this year, to take the number 1 team in the NBA to 6 games is impressive. If they take them all the way to 7 and put them on the elimination block, I consider that a win for the New Orleans Pelicans.
Is Zion shut down for the year? Is there a possibility that he can come back in any of these games? I mean, I haven't seen anything that said that he's done for the year.
Game 7 in Phoenix, lights go down, and Zion comes running out of the locker room with bicep tassels and paint over his eyes. By God, that's Zion's music! Nah, he's done. He don't want to play. He don't want to play. It's more important to him. By the way, you know what news did break about Zion yesterday? This may shock you. You know what news did drop about Zion yesterday? His new shoe line is coming out.
I'm sure it's reinforced.
It's Naruto themed.
Is it?
It is. Do not buy them. Do not buy.
I believe it's Naruto.
I don't care.
Dude,
you do not have permission to buy them.
I need your permission, and now you're making me want to buy them.
Not have permission to buy them.
I don't watch Naruto. So we're good. But to troll you, I guess I might have to spend $150 to buy Naruto shoes.
You do not have permission to buy them, Alonzo. You do not have permission to buy them. Hey, Zion, Big Z, my guy, I have been in your corner. I remain in your corner. I want you to do well, but maybe play in the shoes before you start trying to sell them. Maybe lace them up yourself and use them before you start charging kids $1.75 for a shoe with a cartoon character on it.
It's anime. You drop the shoe, then you come back and you win the series. That makes the shoe more valuable. It's all marketing.
Z, if you show up in Game 6 in the Smoothie King Center, right? Imagine it now, Zoe. They go, and now for your starting lineups. The New Orleans Pelicans at power forward, number 14, Brandon Ingram. At point guard, number 3, CJ McCollum. And they go through the lineup, and then they go at center. The lights shut down. The fog machines kick in.
Okay, so that was the sound of the
lasers
lights
and
shutting
smokes.
down.
Yeah, that was lights going down.
I saw it in my head.
Like every time the Fiend came out.
Good job.
That's the sound of every light. I've never heard a light sound like that in real life, but it happens in entertainment. I don't know why. The lights go out. The smoke drops. You hear... Dun, and at power forward, number 1, Zion. Like the place would lose its mind, right? The place would go bananas if Z rolls out to the court. Give me 18 minutes, Zion. Give me 15 minutes. Give me 1 quarter. Give me 12 minutes. Give me 12 minutes of basketball, and you can win.
Do they have to be in a row with 12 minutes?
No, I'd be fine with a strategic 12 minutes,
Okay.
right? 3 minutes at the end of every quarter. That's it. When the clock hits 3 in the first, second, third, and fourth quarter, you send Z out. It's like the cleaner, man. Give me 12 minutes, Z. Give me 3 at the end of all 4 quarters. We can win the series. That's it. Here's the deal. I'll say it on the air right now. Zion, because I know somebody listening. This is not even a joke. Somebody listening to this show knows him, right? Somebody listening to this show has Z's phone number in their bag right now. Somebody listening to this show can or has texted Zion since he got to New Orleans. To that guy, I want you to tell Z there is a Pelicans fan in the Upstate on the radio who really, really wants him to do well. Is pulling. I have never said a bad word about Zion, have I? Even when I'm frustrated with him, never said a bad word about him. Until now. Play before you sell your shoes. You tell Zion, whoever's got his number, whoever can reach out to him, you tell Z, if he shows up in this series, I will go buy a pair of those shoes like the minute they show up. I'm not a sneakerhead. I don't spend money on shoes. I'm not an anime guy. I've watched one in my life. All right? Z, you show up in this series, I will go buy a pair of your anime-themed shoes the day they show up in shops
Dude,
here.
those shoes are sick.
The red and black ones are dope, aren't they?
I'm looking at the yellow ones.
Yeah.
The gold ones. Those are pretty cool.
Z, if you play in this series, Z, I will go buy. I might buy a pair for Lonzo if you play in this series. All right. I will wear them to every remote we have for the rest of forever. If you play.
Okay.
Whoever is listening that has Z's number, text him that we're buying shoes in the Upstate if he plays.
I just want to say, when he plays, I want the high top red and black because those and
I already got dibs on those.
yeah, the Nike sign is on fire.
Yeah, I already got dibs on those. You
I
gotta
mean,
pick
it's
a different
literally
pair.
on fire.
Yeah, no, I know. I already picked those.
Well,
You
we
gotta get
can't
a
wear
different
the
pair.
same shoes.
No.
Maybe
We
do a
can't have the
remotes
same-
or
we can't-
something.
We can't have the same drip.
All right, fine.
You got to pick a different. We can't have the same drip, Z. The gold ones aren't bad. The black and white ones aren't bad, but the red ones are where it's at. Z, play. I'll buy your shoes. I feel like that's a fair deal, right? That's a fair deal. Texas says, Rob, do you think the Pelicans consider trading Zion Williamson this offseason? Let me take a break. I'll talk about that when we come back. My name is Rob. He's Lonzo. You are listening to the South Carolina Broadcasters Association Sports Talk radio show of the year, the Rob Brown Show, right here on the Fan Upstate. this conversation. I walked into the bathroom, and whoever decided to try to play our Alexa game with us is very good at it. Because I walked in to fancy like Applebee's on a date night playing.
Oh, we know who that is.
So
that's country. There's only one guy in the building. I'm telling you.
That's not country.
That's
pop.
Whatever.
But I said, Alexa, never play this song again or I will throw you in the trash can. And she said, okay, I'll skip this song from now on.
Really?
Yep. So if anybody requests that song again, I'm assuming she'll say no. Or she'll put it back in the rotation. If I hear that song again, I will throw that Alexa away.
So you believe that the song was picked specifically and it wasn't a channel?
It had to be picked because when I said skip this song, it didn't say. She said, I'll skip this song and not play it again, and then went to the next song. So somebody asked for a BS pop channel to be played.
Does that, speaking of B, I wonder if that plays on B. I don't know. It might.
No chance.
They have some crossover stuff on there on occasion.
Messed my neck up, kids.
Hey, this is Don with American Made Windows. Spring is here. The trees are budding. The flowers are blooming. And if you're seeing it all through foggy, drafty, outdated windows, now is the time to upgrade your home with our beautiful, energy-efficient windows. At American Made Windows, we do expert work quickly, cleanly, and affordably.
I'm sure you saw it, but did you see what I sent you on Twitter?
Something, but I haven't checked it yet.
334-6030. And remember, the best windows are American made.
Hey guys, if you think you might have erectile dysfunction, you probably do, because 40% of men over 40 have ED. It's no surprise that men feel uncomfortable or embarrassed talking about their condition. At the Greenville Men's Clinic, we get
Hang on, I have to switch to accounts. There we go.
It's Charles Barkley's bus. And they all go get on the bus. They say it's his bus.
The Chuck Wagon. That's amazing.
Shaq never gets completely on it because I don't think he can.
That or he just doesn't trust Chuck at all. I mean, I bought the hoodie, Keegan. I invest in local teams. I don't ask them for free stuff. So no,
It's because he doesn't have to ask.
Yeah,
I mean, if you don't have to ask, he's Rob Brown.
The only thing they've given me was the personalized jersey, them and the Triumph both. Everything else I bought. I don't ask for free stuff. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. Let me get this conversation in real quick because I was asked by a texter on the Preferred Home Services text line at 71307, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N, and we'll read them live on the air. Texter said, as we were talking NBA playoffs in the last segment, Rob, do you think the Pelicans consider trading Zion Williamson this offseason? So the answer is maybe, based on a couple of things. Number one, at some point, Zion is going to have the balls to say, I do or don't want to play here, right? I'm tired of the dance. Z, look at this team. BI has been playing great basketball. You've got a group of absolute rooks who are not afraid of anything. Herb Jones has been good. Jose Grand Theft Alvarado has been good. Jonas Valanciunas has been good. You got some young guys that ain't afraid of anything that you could and should be the leader of. With B.I. as a vet, and now with CJ to play an honest one. This team's built for you, but if it is more important to you to be a marketed superstar or whatever you want to call it, right? If it's more important for you to sell your shoes in Manhattan than it is to win championships and build a legacy, then go. Then get the hell out, right? Now, I will acknowledge that this is one of the times, Lonzo, you know, I think I do a pretty good job, regardless of what I'm talking about, most of the time, and being able to separate my fandom from my analysis as guy on the radio. This is one of the times that my fandom and analysis from guy on the radio match up. Z, if it is more important to you to sell tennis shoes, sneakers, basketball shoes, whatever you want to call them, if it's more important for you to sell footwear, if it's more important for you to be on billboards and on TV, et cetera, then pack your bags and get on up to New York. I'm sure the Knicks would love to waste your career being mediocre forever. That's fine. I'm sure that LeBron would love to trade away 3 or 4 more young good pieces to bring you into waste away in LA. But, Z, if you're looking at this Pelicans team that is young, that is scrappy, that is, by the way, without you taking the best team in the NBA this year to the limit. That's without you, Zion. Imagine where you'd be, imagine where they'd be if you were there, yeah? Imagine where this team would be if you were playing. Now, when you finally have the rocks to say, I don't want to be there. I want to be in New York or in LA and be a media guy. Then say it, get out. And then the question's going to be, what's on the table for him, right? What's on the table? Who wants him? Do the Clippers want him? Do the Knicks want him? I'm assuming the Nets are going to blow up. Do the Nets want him to replace one of their pieces? Do the Lakers want him? Who wants him? Do the Bulls want him? The Bulls were really good until they weren't. Do the Bulls want him? And where does he want to be? If the stars line up and New Orleans can grab 4 first-rounders because there's a bidding war around Zion, yeah, take the trade, right? I mean, I would hate that yet another superstar decides to bail out of New Orleans before they could build a legacy. CP3, I do not have a problem with. AD, I absolutely do. It sucks that another star will bail out of New Orleans, and it is going to further damage the potential for New Orleans to become the basketball city I think it can be, and the franchise I think it can be. But if I can get 4 first-round picks out of it, sure. Gone. And I'll hope I stumble into a Ja Morant down the line. Because between Ja and Zion right now, Lonzo, if you had to answer the question honestly, which one do you want on your team right now?
Yeah, I'd go with Ja.
Yeah. I would go with Ja, and Zion's on my team. And whoever that person I was talking to earlier is that still has Z in their phone and has the ability to text him, you let him know I said it. When Zion got to New Orleans, your boy was hype. I was jacked. This is it. This is the guy, right? I didn't feel that way about AD. I didn't feel that way about CP3. This is the guy. This is the future. This is our Giannis. This is the guy that takes us to the promised land. And I only want to go once. All I need is one. But this is the guy to get us there. And now what is it? Now what is it? Z, are you genuinely hurt or are you saving yourself for the offseason? Because I got to tell you, all the videos of you throwing self alley-oop 360 under the leg, behind the back dunks, and practicing and running up and down the floor certainly don't look like a guy that's protecting his foot to me. You look like a guy who's just sitting to save yourself up. And if that's the case, stop showing up at games, say the word, and get out. But if you have an interest at being the basketball savior of a city and building a legacy, like you say Giannis is building a legacy right now, I would say so. I would say Giannis is absolutely building a legacy. You could do the same thing and maybe be better. Maybe be better. If you want that, then get your outs out there in Game 6, Game 7, help us win. If you want to go to New York or LA or Chicago or wherever else, then say it and get the hell out and let us move on. Figure out what we can get for you. Good luck. I hope we kick your ass every time we see you in the future. Texter says, fan, I'm hoping Zion gets excited with the young talent and hops on board with the outsider outcast vibe the Pelicans are rocking. They really are. All the guys that are there, Valanciunas, Alvarado, Herb Jones, CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram. So all these dudes are dudes that were cast out from elsewhere, right? Portland said, we're blowing it up, but we're going to keep Dame CJ. Good luck in your future endeavors. LA said Brandon Ingram would rather have Anthony Davis and LeBron than you. Goodbye. Good luck in your future endeavors. Jose Alvarado was a two-way player that nobody else wanted. Herb Jones was an inside guy nobody drafted. All these dudes playing in New Orleans are guys that got told, you ain't the guy everywhere else, and look at him now.
So what you're saying is the Pelicans are the old school Raiders.
Kinda. As this texter just called them, the outsiders, man. They really are. Z, you want in or not, pal? Do you want in or not? Call it and let's happen. Texter says, more important than the basketball game last night, how was that 5:30 a.m. alarm the morning after the late game? Same as it was last week, pal. Lonzo, if you want to be a champion, you fight through adversity, right?
And pain and,
And pain.
And cloudiness.
I have got what I am pretty sure is a bruised rib. A bruise that extends across both of my shoulder blades. Knots across the back of my head. What may or may not be a lingering mild concussion. And 4.5 hours of sleep last night because of basketball. But where am I and what am I doing right now?
Award-winning radio.
Thank you very much. Texter, when I was a kid, I had these Shaquille O'Neal shoes with a little CO2 pump. They were amazing. Some kid on the playground split on them, and I beat the hell out of him.
You said split. It's spit.
Yeah, spit on him. Okay, yeah, some kid
okay.
on the playground spit on them, and I beat the hell out of him. I also had...
What a punk move.
Oh, you spit on my Shaq's?
I can't afford your shoes, so I'm going to spit on them.
You ever heard the story about that? About Shaq's shoes? Why Shaq's shoes got sold at Walmart and not like in shoe stores? When Shaq was either a rookie or a second-year guy, he signed a contract with Reebok to make his shoes, yeah? Reebok made his shoes, and they were selling his shoes at like $1.75, $200 a pop. Well, he was at a game, and a woman, when Shaq was walking by, was like, you should be ashamed of yourself for making your shoes so expensive. Kids want to wear your shoes. Kids want to be like you, but families can't afford the shoes. It's not okay they're that much. And Shaq said, I apologized to the lady, pulled out like $500 out of my wallet, and I was like, here, buy your kid 2 pairs. He said, she slapped the money out of my hand and said, I don't want your money. I want you to realize what you're doing to families with your shoes being that much, and left. He said the next day, I called Reebok. I said, keep the money. Keep the money you owe me. I don't want it, and I don't want to make these shoes anymore. Canceled my shoes and went into business making my own shoes. And that's why you could buy the Shaqs at Walmart, because a lady in the game told him it is not okay to charge so much for your shoes that kids can't afford them, and it made them cheaper. It's a good story. It's also why I wore Shaqs. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate.
You need to fix the crawl. I've been meaning to tell you. It still says.
Oh, we're live. Yeah, good call.
I would have did it, but I didn't know what you'd want on there. So. So who do you think is just turning the music completely off? Is it the fed up adult?
I did it. No, that was me last time
Was
I was
it?
in there.
Okay.
Because it went from Applebee's on a date night.
Well, why didn't you change it to the jazz?
Then it started playing the next song, and it was some terrible pop song, and it was like this woman screeching, and I sound like such a boomer right now, but screeching into the mic, and my only reaction was, Alexa, turn the blank off. And she shut off, and I didn't have it in me to reset it. I was just like... And yes, I think, in case I did not explain, no, this is all me. There are some people in this business who will use their connections to get all the free stuff they can. I got a jersey with my name on it, and the only reason I got that was because I performed a wedding for somebody within that organization. And the Triumph, I got a personalized jersey because I emceed their championship celebration last year for free. Other than that, I buy everything. I
got to admit,
genuinely-
I got this shirt because of who I am.
I believe in investing in your local clubs. I want the clubs to succeed, so me taking stuff from them for free doesn't make sense.
Okay, Trey. So I wasn't sure it was you, so I didn't open it. So, I mean, because I've been getting a lot of those, hey, I saw you in the video things, and it's because someone got hacked. So I don't always open things. But now that you're telling me it's you, I guess it's safe. Not only do I love the belt, but the ensemble that you're wearing there, Trey. Come around here real quick. It'd be easier than me trying to send it to you.
Oh, very nice.
Yes.
Very nice.
Even the necklace.
Oh, yeah. That's a
That's your uncle. Okay.
whole look.
And all the cool stuff on the wall too, by the way. If that's your uncle, you come from good genes.
Oh, no. Those are Giannis's shoes. I'd rather have the Z's. Those aren't great, Giannis. Those would be cool if I was 9. Oh, Keegan, those are awful. Yikes.
Dude, I'm all over the place. My bad. You know.
Wrapping up hour number 1 of the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate. I am Rob. He is Alonzo. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Phone line open, 844-FAN phone, 844-FANFONE, 844-326-3663. Can also text us on the preferred home services text line. That would be 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, and we can read them on the air for and with you. Hope you will do so. Got a bunch more stories coming up in the next hour of the show, including what we open up with. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Emmert, the head honcho of the NCAA, will not be for much more, as it has been accepted by the NCAA, his resignation. And Mark Emmert is out, set to step down in 2023, June 30th. That was an accident. I did not know that baseball bat was still on that chair. I forgot that was there.
I was going to say, I wonder who put that baseball bat on that chair.
I don't know, but I hold them personally responsible
So
for
do I.
that.
So do I.
Unbelievable.
It's still making noise.
What an absolute amateur move that was.
I had to check to make sure it wasn't under my feet.
I think it's over here somewhere. It is. It's still
Wouldn't
out
want to
there.
bail like you the other day.
Mark Emmert stepping down June 30th, 2023. Once his replacement is put into place, that was announced yesterday by the NCAA. He said, quote, "Throughout my tenure, I've emphasized the need to focus on the experience and priorities of student athletes. I'm extremely proud of the work of the association over the past 12 years, and especially pleased with the hard work and dedication of the national office staff here in Indianapolis," end quote. I think Mark Emmert is looking at the portal and the NIL and all the fights that are happening around those things and is like, yeah, I might.
He
Later.
said, Lonzo's right. This thing's going to get bad. I'm out.
I ain't want no part of this. I don't want not a single part of this. It is ugly. It is gross. I don't want to be the guy that's in charge of this
I've
anymore.
seen people online already petitioning for themselves to be the next commissioner. So
I got to tell you, I feel very, very strongly about some of these things. I wouldn't touch that job regardless of salary.
how do we know the job's still going to exist in another year or so? We don't.
I mean, if the breakaway of the Power Five has been contingent on a power vacuum existing, might this be the trigger? Might this be the moment? Now, granted, Emmert is still the president and will stay that way until A, his replacement is named and put up, and B, until that replacement's ready to go. But who do you put in there as a replacement? B, who wants to do it? And C, is this the power vacuum that might be needed to create that spin-off Power 5 only entity? We'll find out. We'll talk more about that when we come back. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. You're listening to The Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate.
How dare you question my dance moves?
I couldn't figure out if you were doing the Harley thing at first.
My bad. You're right. I see it. You're right.
Yeah.
That's like driving riding a Vespa though. I mean, that's not really a Harley, right?
I get one of these in.
Yeah, that was close. You're going to destroy something. You're hitting it way too hard.
Well, that's why I swung so soft at the first one. It's going to be tough. Definitely going to swing up. There it is.
If you take out the TV, that's bad because, there's a bunch of witnesses right now. That was not it, by the way. That was not it. Maybe you need a lighter bat. That was close. That was really close. No.
That's it.
The last shot was better.
Flight path is good. Altitude is bad. You think, like those Do Perfect dudes, you think they just do this for like 15 hours a day for the one they get on film?
I absolutely think they do.
That's it.
I heard it hit the rim, but I wasn't watching
It
it.
100% went in.
Okay.
I'm done.
You sound a little bit winded, so I mean,
Dude, my lungs are not at full capacity right now.
Right.
I genuinely think they're bruised.
Right, so you should be careful. I'm just
Number 2 of the Rob Brown Show goes now. This is the fan Upstate. Hello, Upstate, South Carolina. Hello, America. Hello, world. Great to be with you. I am Rob Brown, the professor of perfection, Colonel Grudge, hashtag dad kicks, the great one Lonzo along for the ride on the other side of the glass as well. What in the books, Lonzo? Time flies when you're winning awards and making great radio. You know what I mean?
Every day at noon, I can't believe it's already over.
I know you were watching, but did you see Ja put the entire state of Minnesota on a poster last night with that dunk? Oh my goodness. Ja Morant is that guy. He just is.
And he knew it afterwards. He let everyone knew that he knew. Let everyone know that he knew. Something like that.
I, for the record, had no problem with that. Had no problem with it. There are people that are like, oh, no, you got to, you don't show them up like, oh, no. If you get between me and the rack and I go up and over and throw down on you like that in a clutch moment, I'm going to let every woman, man, and child within 1,000-mile radius know about it. What he did with that dunk. Somebody asked the question this morning on one of the talk shows. I don't remember which one. But one of those talk shows, though, said, as far as playoff dunks go, where does Jaws from last night rank? My immediate reaction was, that's got to be a top 3 all-time playoff dunk, right? That dunk's got to be top 3.
See, I don't know. I've forgotten so many. There's got to be some really good ones, earlier on.
I mean, it's just violent, dude.
I will say, in recent memory, it is one of the best.
It's certainly the best this year. It's certainly the best of the last few years. Let's see, I'm looking it up. Fan-sided, Ja Morant caught a body with the dunk of the year in the NBA playoffs. Fox Sports, Ja Morant just killed a man. NBA melts over epic dunk. All right, here's Bleacher Report's top 10 greatest playoff dunks. Let's start with number 10. Reggie Miller gets some love. Game 5 of the first round of the 2002 playoffs. Miller took the rock, drove through the lane, threw it down on Kerry Kittles, Kenya Martin, and Todd McCulloch. What a list of names. There's a blast from the past. Miller basically dunked over the entire backcourt of New Jersey at that point. Good dunk. But Jaws was something else. Let's go to the 2005 playoffs when Tracy McGrady threw down over Sean freaking Bradley. Now, that one's not fair, Lonzo, because Sean Bradley was a big man who did not care how many times. A big man now, if you see a power forward come into the paint, rise and pull the ball back, a lot of big men duck out of the way today, right? Like, they're not contesting that because I'm not trying to be on some kid's wall with a poster of me getting his junk rubbed in my face while he throws down on me. Sean Bradley did not care. Sean Bradley said, you can put me on every poster in America. You are going to have to earn that dunk. And VC did it. VC dunked on Sean Bradley. But that can't be up there because everybody in the NBA dunked on Sean Bradley. But Sean Bradley also rejected everybody in the NBA a handful of times because he was the last big guy that would stand under there and contest those dunks.
So it has nothing to do with the fact that he probably just couldn't have gotten out of the way.
No, I think Sean Bradley attacked you if you attacked him.
I just don't think he could get out of the way. But
I mean, it was late in his career. He retired after this year.
Yeah,
maybe because of that dunk.
I agree that he had that mentality, but at the same time, quicks, I don't know.
I don't know, man. Listen, you don't have to be quick to slide to the left, slide to the right, and get out of the way. Sean Bradley, what was he, 15 years into his career at this point? Was like, here comes Air Canada. I'm going to jump in front of that. And took it. Game 2 of the 97 Eastern Conference semifinals, Dikembe Mutombo made headlines saying that MJ had never dunked on him. Then what happened, Lonzo? Then what happened? Jordan went his airness on Mutombo. Not only did he knock him to the ground with the dunk, but then what did he do? Hit Dikembe with his own finger wag, ate up the technical foul, and Phil Jackson laughed at it. Steve Nash won the second of his back-to-back MVP awards in 2006. There was an argument that Kobe Bryant should have won it in a year he led the league in scoring and had his 81-point game. Game 2 of the Suns and Lakers in the first round, Lamar set Bryant up with a chance to make it right. Nash tried to take the charge, and instead, Kobe threw down what might be his personal number 1 playoff dunk of all time. But again, can the greatest playoff dunk be over a point guard, Lonzo? You're a power forward. Steve Nash is 6 inches shorter than you. I can't go on the list.
Yeah, the Mutombo, I mean, that's if you dunk over Shaq, if you dunk over someone like that, yeah, but no.
Yeah,
not
over
not
Steve
a point guard.
Nash?
Yeah.
Steve Nash? Come on, man. They got John Starks listed in here. This is, I think, the first one that ever came up that I don't actually know.
Tell me Starks took a knee to the face when it happened.
No, it was John Starks throwing down the
Oh,
dunk.
I don't want to hear about that.
Yeah. Let's see.
I couldn't stand that guy. He was so annoying.
This was the
Which was
early-
kind of the point,
Yeah, I
but
was gonna
still,
say,
yeah.
it
I
seems
mean,
like that's what everybody was saying here.
he did his job, and he was really good at it. But man, I couldn't stand it. Anytime he came on the court, it's like, no.
All right, so I said a minute ago, a dunk over a point guard in the playoffs does not count. A dunk by a point guard in the playoffs absolutely does. How about the 2007 Western Conference semifinals? The Warriors' dream run as a number 8 seed fell short against Utah, but Baron Davis reminded folks exactly who the hell he was. It was Oracle Arena in 2007. Baron drove through the lane and flushed it over. Here's another memory lane name for you, Lonzo. AK-47 Andre Kirilenko. Baron Davis, a point guard, flushing a tomahawk down on Andre Kirilenko and getting a tech foul for popping his jersey in his face. Lonzo, little man dunking over a center gets you on the list, right? Has to.
Oh, without a doubt.
Has to. Is Jaws better than that from last night? Or is it a little recency bias? I'm going to be, you know what's going to happen after the show's over? I have actual work to do, and instead I'm going to be searching for the YouTube clips of each one of these dunks to power rank them one by one. Seems like a good use of my time.
It's sports related. You're doing your job.
Good enough for me. Good enough for me. Sean Kemp made the list as a dunker, not as a donkey in this one, stuffing it on Chris Gatling. How about that? Michael Jordan has a second dunk on this when he threw down over the Knicks and flushed it on Patrick Ewing. I put this one at the list only because, Lonzo, I hated Patrick Ewing. Despised Patrick Ewing.
Speaking of Starks, Patrick Ewing right there with them.
Hated him.
Yeah, couldn't stand him either.
Hated him. Man, he was dirty. He was cheap. And he was so good at it. He was so good at it. Hated Patrick Ewing. When was this? I don't remember when this one even was. Had to be, what, very early 90s? Anyway, the number one on the Bleacher Report list, Lonzo, is Scottie Pippen throwing down over Patrick Ewing in that same series. Said it's not just the dunk where Pippen collided with Ewing midair and threw down on him. It's him standing. Oh, that's right. This was the step over. Remember when Scottie in the playoffs stepped over Patrick Ewing? Ewing got up trying to shove Scottie. Scottie was already gone because Scottie had walked over to Spike Lee and said, "Shut up and sit down," right to Spike Lee's face. You know what, Ja, I'm sorry. You are number two. The Scottie dunking on the entire city of New York dunk has to be number one. Has to be, right? When you walk over to Spike Lee and the entire Big Apple, after, by the way, shoving Patrick Ewing to the ground and stepping over him like an absolute G. Yeah, I'd say you get a little love there. I'd say you get a little love there. All right, best playoff dunk of all time. Who you got? And where does Ja last night fit into the list? Because I got to tell you, that was a blast. Texter says, fan, the original step over, Pippen over Ewing. How good was it? Good enough that you're not watching on the stream. You're missing out because I'm about to share it. Go to facebook.com/thefanupstate, twitter.com/thefanupstate, or check us out on YouTube by searching The Rob Brown Show, The Rob Brown Show, and you'll be able to watch it with us. Here's the dunk right here. Ewing with the kick out, the drive.
Oh,
this is 3 minutes. I got to find it. Is this it right here? It's got to be, right?
Myers for Pippen.
Yep,
Oh,
there it is. There it is.
Pippen
That little push and step over.
Who did not appreciate it.
And then Scottie goes right over to Spike Lee. Shut up and sit down. Oh, it's so good. Watch the push after the dunk, too, right there. Just that right hand from Scottie, like, who are you?
Myers for Pippen.
Nobody cares about you, Patrick Ewing. Sit down, old man.
In the face of Patrick Ewing, who did not
Patrick
appreciate
Ewing came up ready to fight. Spike Lee was ready to throw hands. And Scottie just said, shut up and sit down. That's so good.
But you know, John,
you know what? I think that's it. I think that's number one, Zoe. I think that might be my favorite playoff dunk of all time.
I agree with you, but I wonder, well, is it more because you don't like the guy you did it over, though? Does that make it rise on your ladder a little bit more because of that? It does me. I'm going to admit it because I don't like Ewing.
Yeah.
And yeah, so.
Yeah. 100%. For him, not just to dunk on Pat U, right? Not because there's the dunk, right? And look at that. I don't know if it's I stopped it in time. But look at where that is right there. I mean, that's the perfect form dunk, right? Then as he comes down, in video games, when you kill a guy, Lonzo, and then you do like the little squat dance over him, there's a name for that. He does that to Patrick Ewing. It's a victory dance in Call of Duty that kids do to be hilarious and troll you. And Scottie basically does that to him, right? Texter texted that in. I can't say that word on the air, but yeah, that's what he does to him. Then,
you know, the Knicks deserved it too because they were so dirty
they were
and
punks,
so yeah,
man.
they were, and that's what made it so much sweeter.
They weren't nothing but punks. Never was, never would be anything else. So after the dunk, Scottie just throws Patrick Ewing to the ground, shoves him with the right hand. You can barely see it in the video, but watch the right hand of Scottie. He shoves him down. He's like, I need you to have all of the seats, pal. And then, does Scottie just stop and let Patrick Ewing slide away from him? No. He has to walk straight. It's one thing to step over a guy, Alonzo. To step over a guy, right? He's laying on the ground. You walk over him, sideways. No. Scottie walked over Patrick, long ways. Long ways. From feet to head. Long ways. Which meant that there was at least one step where Scotty was in Patrick's face, if you get what I'm saying. Which, you know, I got to tell you, Zoe, I'm not a fighter. 37, never been in a fight with my life, with the exception of with the concrete floor. 0 for 2 in that particular regard. Never been in a fight with my life. But I'm pretty sure if I got knocked to the ground and a dude walked over me long ways to make sure that his bits was in my grill, that might break the streak. Patrick Ewing came up ready to go. That wasn't until Horace Grant got between him and Scotty. And there's Scotty telling Spike Lee, shut up and sit down.
But you know, John,
What an absolute moment. That's it, right? And here's the thing. Look at Patrick. There wasn't nothing. What's Patrick going to say right there? Patrick couldn't say nothing. He just had to walk away. Just walk back to your bench, Patrick Ewing.
The Bulls' answer to John
Oh, we get the good angle.
spectacular dunk
Watch the right hand. All right. That's the perfect dunk, right? That's the perfect dunk.
last year.
Then watch the right hand. Yoink. And the
And he
long
hovered over
ways
Ewing
walk
for a
over.
second, and Patrick didn't like it, as
Oh,
any
that's
player
beautiful.
wouldn't like.
That's beautiful.
The only way it could have been better was if Scotty was looking him in the eye when he was dunking. If it was a no-look dunk.
And he
I mean,
hovered over
I
Ewing.
can't tell you
Answer
for
to John
certain that it
Stark's
wasn't.
spectacular dunk
No, he
last
had his eyes
year.
up, but he was looking at him coming down. As soon as that ball went
And he
flush, he
hovered
had it
over
coming
Ewing
down.
for a second.
And then, of course, you have Scotty walking to the sidelines, telling Spike Lee, sit down and shut up. And look at Spike Lee. Spike can't say anything. What are you going to say at that point, right?
Scotty,
Scottie Pippen just murdered the entire city of New York.
I don't know. Spike kind of swipes at him. If he would have made contact,
And
would
he
they?
gives him the old, gone.
Yeah. Would they have kicked him out?
I don't know, man. That's a rough dunk.
In this day and age, they might have.
All right, 844-FAN phone, 844-FAN-FONE, 844-FAN phone. That's 844-326-3663. You can also text into the show on the Preferred Home Services text line at 71307, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N. I will read them on the air. Texter says, FAN, can I get the number to the show? Sure. 844-FAN phone, 844-326-3663. 2 votes for the Pippen over Ewing step over. That's got to be the answer, right? That's got to be the greatest playoff dunk of all time. Don't put a big man over a point guard at me. Baron Davis gets some love for dunking over half the roster. But Pippen stepping over Ewing has got to be it. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, Mark Emmert, it is official, is stepping down as the head of the NCAA. So what does that mean for the NCAA? And how will Mark Emmert be remembered? I have a guess. Not super fondly. We'll talk about that when we come back. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. This is the Fan Upstate.
Listen to our tacos.
local Granger team knows him by name. We're here for you and all the ones who get it done with 24/7 customer support and access to product specialists to help you find what you need. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Mike is remodeling the old family drive-in movie theater. He'll need a new front of house cast and behind the scenes crew. Indeed can help him hire great people fast. Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get 75%.
In the Rob is trying to destroy himself story of the night, I also lopped off a solid chunk of the end of my finger with a knife last night trying to make Courtney a salad. I'm like, I don't know why I'm trying to take myself out, but apparently I am. Is what you can't say on the radio a form of Earl Grey, Lipton, and Louisiana? Maybe you could say someone got Earl Grey'd. That's not bad. That's really not bad, Trey. That's good work. That's good work.
I guess it just depends on what your tea of choice is. Or you could just say they got Lipton. I don't know. That's one of those name brands that you just know what it is. So
That's brisk, baby. I don't even know Lipton used to have a series of commercials based off of the Celebrity Deathmatch MTV claymation show. And it always, even as a kid, blew my mind that some like big time national company would lean into Celebrity Deathmatch, which was a great show.
I don't know. I watched a little bit
I loved it.
of it like last week or something, and I don't think it held up well. I mean, maybe it's
But so much of it was based on like
the stars of the day.
and
how current-
immediate pop culture references that were happening like that week that are super dated now.
By the way, you should give NXT another chance.
Okay.
The wrestling last night, for the most part, was really, really good.
I will.
And the turf war between the Don of NXT
Dawn.
and Legado Phantasmo, whatever. Yeah, is heating up, and I like that.
The biggest problem I have right now is that there's so much playoff basketball on, it eats all my wrestling time up.
I gotcha.
And as soon as basketball's over, it's going to be time for the semi and finals of the Stanley Cup playoffs, which is another 2 weeks.
I found there's this girl who wrestles like in a onesie, and she sleeps half the time and stuff, and it's hilarious. And she keeps messing with people. Turns out she was. Remember when they had the whole kung fu type thing going on, and there was someone like on a throne?
Yeah. Did they just stop doing that?
Yeah, it's her.
It was the girl that was in the throne?
Yeah.
They just stopped doing that with Xia Li. They just stopped that.
Well, she's on the main roster now.
Okay. The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. Rob Alonzo with the 844 fan phone, 844-FANFONE. That's 844-326-3663. Text us on the Preferred Home Services text line 71307, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N. We'll read them on the air. Can also get at us on Twitter at The Rob Brown Show, at The Rob Brown Show, at Lonzo on Word, at Lonzo on WORD. And you can tweet us all at The Fan Upstate. Plus, join us in the live stream each and every single day by going to Facebook.com/TheFanUpstate, Twitter.com/TheFanUpstate, or the YouTube channel. Search and follow The Rob Brown Show on YouTube, and you can watch and participate in the show from behind the scenes. So, Mark Emmert announced yesterday he is out. And let me just say that Mark Emmert is going to be remembered for being really good at his job if you were a power institution in the NCAA, and really, really, really bad at his job if you were anybody else. If you were a power player, if you had a vested interest in the NCAA, then Mark Emmert was great for you. It was great for you. He protected the power of the NCAA. He protected the investments of the NCAA above any and everything else. But if you were anybody else, if you were an NCAA athlete, if you were an NCAA coach that was not directly employed by one of the biggest universities, if you were a victim of an NCAA player committing a crime, you will not remember Mark Emmert very fondly. And there's a couple of different angles to that. During the course of the NIL coming down the pipe, which, by the way, people like me have been telling you for a number of years, this is not a possibility, it is an inevitability. Name, image, and likeness laws are going to be here. It's gonna happen. And what did Mark Emmert do? La, 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 we can hear you, la, 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 and did nothing. And so instead of the NCAA being out ahead of the curve, instead of the NCAA being, prepared, ready to have responses out there, etc., they just kept sticking their fingers in their ears and going, nah, we don't like it. Nope, blah, 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 can't hear you. And what happened? Now, those laws are being made up by states. Each individual state has its own NIL laws for its system. Each private institution has its own laws. And instead of the NCAA going, here are the NIL laws, here's what the NIL laws are according to the NCAA, they just let the whole thing go. They had judges and lawmakers for years warning them, NIL, a slow-moving, inevitable process, is gonna be here. You should do something about it. And Mark Emmert and the NCAA did nothing. Why? Because to do something would have costed them money. So instead, like the little goblins that they are, they just hoarded their treasure. Got as much money as they can, shared it with absolutely nobody they weren't obligated to, and let the thing happen. Let it keep coming down. So now every state has their own NIL laws, and you don't have to do anything about it. The NCAA acted as a lightning rod for criticism of college sports while the schools all protected themselves to the best of their ability. That was his job, and he did it well. When the NIL complaints were coming down the pipe, it was our job to blast the NCAA. Why? So that the schools could operate how they wanted to. Think about some of the different, scandals, controversies, whatever you want to call them. Penn State, Baylor, Now, if you were in charge of an organization and you found out that things were happening inside of that organization, like what happened at Penn State, I don't know about you, I'd be dropping down a hammer on every person involved. Did we get NCAA involvement in the Penn State scandal? Not really. What about Baylor? Where you had a coach actively covering up sexual assaults on behalf of their football players. Every bit, if not, every bit as bad as what was happening at Penn State. Did we get NCAA cover up there or NCAA involvement there? Nope. Do you know why? Why we didn't do that? Because other schools did not want the NCAA to have power over them. So the schools said, we don't want the NCAA to have power over our autonomy. We don't want the NCAA to have the ability to step in and go, no, you punishing yourself is not good enough. We will punish you. So the NCAA just stepped back and went, nope. At one point, under Mark Emmert, and this is the one that will always have Mark Emmert being a bad guy to me. At one point, during the NIL conversation, the NCAA lawyers in court cited the 13th Amendment as a reason to not pay student athletes. Because the 13th Amendment, the one that banned slavery, they argued that in that 13th Amendment, there were situations where, quote, unpaid labor, end quote, was allowed, and they decided that that was a good argument why players shouldn't get paid. Mark Emmert was not good at his job. He should not be remembered as being good at his job. And again, unless you're a power broker at the NCAA level. You know what he is? He's Roger Goodell. How have I described Roger Goodell to you guys for years? Roger Goodell's a mouthpiece, right? Roger Goodell is a mouthpiece and nothing else. His job is to go out there. His job is to repeat whatever it is that the owners ultimately want. That's it. Roger Goodell has no decision-making power. Roger Goodell has no authority. He claims it. He says he does, but he doesn't. His authority is whatever the owners tell him to do, that's what he's going to do. I'll beat up on Roger Goodell, sure. Just like I'll beat up on anybody who is willing to take a lot of money to be the whipping boy for a more powerful entity. That's part of the job, pal. I know friends of mine that were in different media organizations. I did it at one point. That become PR for another entity. And when that entity does bad, as the county government I used to work for frequently did, I had to go out and take the beating for it. Answer the tough questions for it. And I got paid a lot of money to do it. That was Mark Emmert, right? So, I will not remember him fondly. I will not. We are very close, and I believe this. We are very, very close to the point in time when the Power Five are going to split away from the NCAA on football. Do you believe that, Lonzo? That it's a reality at this point?
Absolutely. That's what we were talking about earlier. That may be the reason why he's leaving, because the writing's on the wall and he sees that it's about to break up. They've been talking about it for a while, and then it kind of cooled off a little bit, but it's back big time. And I don't think it's going away until it actually dissolves. What we get in the end, I don't know. Hopefully something better.
I think it's an inevitability. I think Mark Emmert knows that. I think it's coming sooner rather than later, and I think Mark Emmert knows that. And Mark Emmert said, let me get up out the way because I don't want to be around when that happens. I don't think that I want any part of this. The NCAA is a disaster. It is a disaster because Mark Emmert spent so much of his time basically allowing chaotic situations to sneak up on him and the NCAA and then going, we don't want to take power away from the schools. If you don't want to take power away from the schools, what the hell's the point of the NCAA? What's the point? If you don't want the NCAA to have power, then what is the point of the NCAA? But that was the argument that Mark Emmert made so many times. We don't want to get in the way. Well, he's getting out of the way. Good. Adios, amigo. See you never. Let me get Kevin in here before we take a break to the final segment of the show. Kevin, welcome in, big fella.
What up, Rob? What's going on, man?
Living the dream, buddy. How are you?
Oh, man, having a good day today, man. Just sitting out here on break right now watching the train go by. That's kind of exciting right now. On my duties right now. That's the most exciting thing that's going on right now, train going by. But I guess train going by, no crime, no trouble. I guess that's all right. But
I ain't mad at you.
I was listening to y'all talking about the YouTube dunks and Scotty dunking on Pat and all that. But I mean, yeah. So y'all wouldn't take. So if y'all had to go to a back alley to fight back in the '90s, y'all wouldn't take the Knicks.
Yeah, to be on our side for sure. Yeah, I'm taking them with me. Yeah.
I'm taking. I don't know if I want to play basketball with him or not, but I'm taking him to fight in the back alley now. I am taking that team. But, you know, it's a lot of dunks that people will talk about on YouTube all the time. But nobody ever talks about when Kevin Johnson dunked on Team Olajuwon, bro.
That's because nobody wants to talk about Akeem the Dream, one of the most beloved players, getting flat out embarrassed.
Hey, man, you got to do it. That's part of your legacy, man. You got to get pumped on one time.
That was 90, 94, 93, 94?
Somewhere around in there. I want to say 93, but it might have been 94. But I tell you what, it was nasty. It was nasty. Like I like that dunk. I like me as a competitive person. I got to get dunked on. Somebody's gonna do it. I just hope it ain't. Here's posting in Walmart when I go in there.
You trying to so here was the thing, and this is what I said. This is why I respected. We talked about Sean Bradley in that segment, right? One of the reasons I respect Sean Bradley was because Sean Bradley was going to step up and contest every dunk. Like nowadays, if a dude comes flying down the paint and he rises and pulls that thing back, about 85% of the league, 90% of the league gets out of the way, right? Like I'm not trying to be on a poster in some kid's bedroom. I don't want my son seeing me getting lit up and glided over by a Kevin Johnson. So I'm going to step out the way. Guys like Sean Kemp, guys like Akeem, they were going to make, if you were going to put them on a poster, you were going to get hurt on the way down if you went up against them, and I respect that.
And Sean Bradley, man, you know, if you got paid for getting posters, he would be a billionaire because I've seen people just take one step and miss the dunk, catch the rebound, get it back, and then dunk on it. And I think he liked it. I think Sean Bradley liked getting dunked on. Like, he had a nice little career, however long he stayed. But I tell you what, I know he got at least 12 posters in Walmart.
Oh, I got no doubt.
Right now, we got to go back to the posters, man. Some type of way. But like you say, everybody moving out the way now so you don't get a good poster to every now and then. Like, Ja got some posters. Ja got some posters that you got to start putting them on the wall, man. Y'all got sons, man. We got to get the nephews back. We got to go talk to them, man. Put the posters back on the wall. But LeBron and them boys got to get back in the dunk contest to give us something to get a poster for.
That is 100%, 100%. Kevin, appreciate you, big fella. We'll talk to you down the line, my guy. Thank you very much. That's Kevin. Love Kevin. Kevin coined the phrase going ham at 9 a.m., which I love. Put that on the T-shirt. Give me the boys back on the give me the boys back in the dunk contest, but nothing will beat an in-game hammer throwdown like Ja Morant led last night. Like I said to Kevin, That will go big again when guys stop getting out of the way and start contesting those dunks. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate. I don't know what this means, but Tepper just announced a random afternoon press conference unscheduled.
Yeah, we got an email.
I just saw that.
Did it come to an agreement with Brock Hill?
Let's face it, credit cards are pretty much a necessity.
Any tires for the car? Here's my card.
I order takeout, use my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you gonna do?
Get a low fixed rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream from $5,000 to $100,000 and pay off those credit card balances. Apply online and you can get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges.
It's got to have something to do with that, doesn't it?
With Lightstream, you can get
The Tepper thing has to have something to do with the headquarters.
I don't know. You also got the drafts tomorrow, so could be an extension.
He's come out to say we've reached a deal with Baker Mayfield.
additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio. Lightstream.com/radio.
Don't maybe letting Matt Rule go, do you? That would be a bad move right before the draft.
No, absolutely not.
How can you focus? How can you be at your optimal best when your body's under attack by pain?
That's why Emmett's such a proponent of QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is here with regenerative options using natural biologics, non-surgical alternatives that offer lasting relief for pain in your knees, hips, lower back, and shoulders.
This natural biological treatment gives them the chance to get back in the game and to have normal life.
QC Kinetics treatments laser focus on areas of intense pain, allowing your body to heal itself with no drugs, so you can focus on normal life.
Walking up the stairs without pain, getting on your bicycle without pain, running again, playing with the kids.
Your consultation is absolutely free. Call QC Kinetics.
864-448-3772. That's 864-448-3772. QC Kinetics. 864-448-3772.
Going to borrow now.
Can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can post your job to some job board.
Unsuccessfully.
All you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Kobe.
Doesn't depend on candidates finding you; it finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while
Look at how purple my toe is now.
hey, ZipRecruiter
And the top of my
is
foot.
looking for the needle in the haystack. See why 4 out of 5 employers.
Maybe I'll be able to put shoes back on by the weekend.
Within the first day, ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
I think someone put some voodoo on us, Rob.
Seriously.
Dealing with ED is difficult enough, but the pressure of not satisfying your partner makes it even worse. ED can be tough on a relationship, but at HIMSS, you can contact a medical provider online
Well, I've seen Rocky 1 through 5, and I have seen Rocky Balboa.
at affordable prices. HIMSS ED medication has the same active ingredient as Viagra, but because it's
It's interesting how Rocky goes from dumb to smart, back to dumb, back to, I mean, you know,
Tommy, listen, Tommy. Tommy Gunn, God.
Well, he was an actual boxer. I mean, as opposed to all the actors, but.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. Thunder Lips is coming for you. Thunder Lips. Thunder Lips. Thunder Lips.
Didn't care what his name was. The fact that you could see how small Stallone was compared to how big Hulk Hogan was.
Oh, God, that hurts. Thunder Lips.
Don't you be disparaging of Rocky, Rob Brown. It's an amazing film series. If Rocky doesn't hit, we get no Rambo. We get no Expendables. There's a lot of movies. We get no Tango and Cash.
Tango and Cash.
Which is a great movie, by the way.
Well, this is exciting, isn't it, Lonzo?
The anticipation is just, what is it? What's it about?
We just got an email that says that at noon today, David Tepper will be holding a press conference. And this was announced at 10:47 in the morning. So in an hour and 13-ish minutes, David Tepper will have a press conference, and the subject of that press conference is question mark? We don't know. It just kind of came out of the blue. Now, it's the day before the draft, yeah? So it could be draft related. It could be the announcement of somebody being added to the coaching staff, maybe to the draft day war room that they're looking at. Could be that they have signed an extension with a big player, although it's likely not going to be player related, right? Because the Adam Schefters of the world and the rest of those reporter dudes would have already put that out into the Twitterverse. So this is going to have something to do with the Rock Hill facility, which es no mas, is no more.
Although there's been reports that they're dissolving the old deal and trying to come up with a new one. So maybe that's what they've done.
Maybe so. I mean, it'd be great if it does. I think it would be good for the Panthers to have a South Carolina presence, even if it is just right over the border. How far north of the state border is Charlotte? It's not but a handful of minutes, right?
Yeah, it doesn't take that long to get there for sure. When you go through Gaffney, and then, yeah, it's not that far.
I mean, but from the actual North Carolina, South Carolina border.
I've been there a bunch, and I'm trying to. Yeah, you could look it up. I'm trying to think. I don't know. Is it like 20 minutes? Maybe it might be a little bit longer than that. I guess it depends on how fast you drive.
I'm curious, but I think to have. I typed in how far is Charlotte from the South Carolina border. Actually typed in from the SC border. And it gave me directions from the south of the border Motor Inn,
which is
Florence. North of Florence.
Which is right there, close to the border. Yeah. So.
South of the border Inn is just outside of Echo, North Carolina, and just north of Hamer, South Carolina.
They sell fireworks and stuff. They have a bunch of little stores. You start seeing
really?
A bunch of signs on your way there. Yeah.
Let's see. It's by Elrod and Little Rock and Minturn, South Carolina. Anyway, Charlotte looks to be not too terribly far from so you put it in Rock Hill, South Carolina. You put it in Rock Hill, South Carolina, it's going to give you about a 35-minute drive. And Rock Hill to Charlotte is about equidistant from the border, right? Now, granted, all the games are going to be played in Charlotte, but to have the facilities in Rock Hill gives you that Carolina's football team presence. Is that enough for Tepper to get the job done? Question mark, don't know. / is that enough for Tepper to stop playing hardball? And does this impact how we think the situation's going to play out in a handful of years when Tep's ready to replace BOA? No idea yet. No idea yet, but I'm intrigued to watch it play out. So when Lonzo and I get off the air, we'll run over there, get set up, watch that presser, and as soon as we find out what it is, we'll break that news live to you. Make sure you're following us on our social media for that exact reason. Twitter.com/TheFanUpstate, Facebook.com/TheFanUpstate. You can follow me and Zoe on our personal Twitters at The Rob Brown Show and at Lonzo on Word. Soon as that presser goes, soon as we get out of here and that presser goes live in just a touch over an hour, we will put whatever the breaking news is going to be up there on that social media for you. It's got to be something with the facility, right? It can't be draft related. It can't be player personnel related. I think Lonzo's right. It's got to be a renewed either a renewed deal on the facility or the announcement that there is no deal and they are done. They're out of South Carolina, or at least out of Rock Hill.
All right, so I was looking up. I just Googled David Tepper because I was curious, and one of the headlines comes up from Charlotte Observer 4 days ago. Future of Panthers facility in Rock Hill or elsewhere could be influenced by a new bill. So I think it has something to do with that. I mean, anything else, I guess, would be a surprise.
I think anything else would be a huge surprise. It'd certainly be a surprise if it was a player personnel move. It'd be a shock if it was a coaching move. I can't imagine what else they would do player personnel wise as we lead up. The draft's tomorrow, right? The draft's tomorrow.
The draft absolutely is tomorrow.
My goodness, Lonzo, what do you think we should talk about in the next hour?
Probably the draft would be a good move. We got to talk about it sometime. You're going to knock the glass down.
I forgot about that. Ladies and gentlemen, 1 hour left. We hit some NFL draft talk. When we come back, I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. You are listening to The Rob Brown Show on the best damn sports station in all the nation. This is the Fan Upstate.
Come on.
Mike is remodeling the old family drive-in movie theater. He'll need a new front-of-house cast and behind-the-scenes crew. I'm thinking at least 6 per shift. Indeed can help him hire great people fast. Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit $75
Let's do it now. Speaking of the road less traveled, how about that Sam Darnold road? Let's get into that here on CBS Sports Radio. After we get a CBS Sports Radio update from Andrew Bowie.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of
somebody's playing their game now. It's for the second time I've gone out there, and it was some terrible pop music, like awful pop music. So I just flipped it to 1960s and 70s country and turned the red dot on.
Oh, see, that's hurtful for me.
Yeah, but if
'cause
you're playing pop
yeah.
music, that's the polar opposite.
Are you sure that it wasn't the Jazz? Because I had just
Yes.
changed it to the Jazz.
Yes.
Are you sure it's not recent pop music? Are you sure it's not B?
No, but it's terrible.
Because
Whatever
I've
it
been
is.
in there when someone
awful.
turned that on. So
It's awful. Whatever it is, I hate it. I despise it. If I go back in there and it's not on, or it's on again, I'm just unplugging the Alexa. If nobody can have it.
that will get us an email. You don't want to do that. I don't like emails. Just put it on Kids Bop. Would you rather hear Kids Bop or whatever it was that you just heard?
70s country.
That was not an option.
Isn't Kids Bop just what I was hearing, but with children singing it?
Yes, which makes it more
It
annoying.
makes it worse.
Yeah. Because if you're going to be annoying, you might as well go all the
Be
way.
all the way annoying.
So it has to be someone from that hallway. That's why I'm saying
I'm
it's
guessing so.
it's probably actually the station.
Well, the station's terrible.
The station is awesome. So glad to have them in our building. Be negative towards our family. What you doing, man?
It's not the station. They were not playing Applebee's on a date night.
I bet they do. I bet it's on the
I'm
playlist.
going to ask as soon as we get done.
Let's see. One of the things on their website's delicious pop. You're not the demographic, man. So
No,
I mean,
I'm
you're
not.
not. So I mean, actually, it's a podcast. Okay. We have a Prisma in the first break.
Ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, children of all ages. The third, the final, the best, the money hour of the Rob Brown Show starts right now. Welcome in, my friends, and the rest of you that aren't. I am Rob. Directly across from me, the great one, Lonzo. Glad to have you along for the ride. 844-FAN-PHONE, 844-FAN-FONE, 844-FAN-FONE. 844-326-3663. You can also text us on the Preferred Home Services text line at 71307. 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, and we will read them on the air because we like you. Most of the time. Sometimes. You can also tweet us at The Rob Brown Show, at The Rob Brown Show, at Lonzo on Word, and tweet everybody at the station, at The Fan Upstate. You can Facebook us at The Fan Upstate, Facebook.com/The Fan Upstate. That is also along with the Twitter site where you can go behind the scenes and watch the live stream of the show. Interact with Lonzo and I during the breaks. You can watch Lonzo once or twice a show try to throw his trash into a tough angle today. Tough angle. Trash can's almost all the way on our table today. You got about 3 inches to work with off to the right-hand side? That's a tough draw.
It's not an easy make for sure.
Tough draw. And, of course, we answer questions like Stevens, who said, Robin Zoe, I am on HBO Max last night and see the Rocky series 1 through 5, and then I see Rocky Balboa from 06. Have either of you watched it? If so, thoughts? ?
See, my thing is I saw it a long time ago because that movie
came out in 06.
Yeah, so it's a little bit old. I seem to recall liking it.
Never saw it. I don't know why I had zero interest in it.
Did you see any of the Creed movies?
I saw the first one, really liked it.
Yeah.
Did not get to the second one. Liked the first one. You know why? Because the first one felt like Rocky. Felt like a good Rocky movie, just with a new cat. And it had some legacy to it, which I respect. Then I hadn't seen the second one yet. But I feel like the second one's gonna feel like Rocky 2, right? Like it went to his head a little bit. Gotta come back down to earth, get to his roots. We'll see.
Rocky for a new generation.
Yeah. Although Rocky's for every generation. No, Adrian! I did it!
Especially the training sequence in Russia.
Need a montage. Everything's better with a montage. Trey says, can EA Sports make college games now with the NIL? That is a very interesting question because if you're a player, can't you say, I want to cut? Now, the way that EA Sports got away with that in the past is when you downloaded or picked up a copy of EA Sports NCAA football, whatever year it was, it's in the game. And you opened it up. When you selected Clemson University as your team and you fired up that week 1 exhibition, you did not have DJ Uiagalelei playing quarterback, did you? Who did you have? QB number 5. When you opened it up at South Carolina, you did not have Spencer Rattler at starting quarterback. You had QB number 7. They didn't put names or images. They never showed the players with their helmets off either, did they? Helmets on all the time. Why? Because name and image. You had to protect both of them. And then there was the O'Bannon lawsuit. Remember that one? Where, what was the guy's first name? I completely forgot O'Bannon's first name. But the O'Bannon lawsuit was filed against the NCAA. Ed O'Bannon, that's right. Thank you very much, Texter. Ed O'Bannon was a basketball player for UCLA. He was a starter on the 95 national championship team. He was also the NCAA tournament most outstanding player that year. Filed a lawsuit against the NCAA and the Collegiate Licensing Company alleging violations of the Sherman Antitrust Act and actions that deprived him of his right to publicity. He agreed to be the lead plaintiff after seeing his likeness from the 95 championship team used in the EA Sports title NCAA Basketball 09 without his permission. The game featured an unnamed UCLA player who played O'Bannon's power forward position while also matching his height, weight, bald head, skin tone, number 31 jersey, and shot left-handed like Ed O'Bannon did. It was Ed O'Bannon. They just didn't put his name on it, right? And for years, That's how the NCAA got away with this kind of stuff. You might see advertisements for a team, and they wouldn't put the player in, but they would absolutely use the jersey, right? And so if you had, I don't know, let's say FSU, Jameis Winston down there in Tallahassee. If you were rolling around Florida State and you saw on the side of the road a sign with a football player holding a trophy like he's throwing a pass and a number 5 jersey, you might be able to see it. You might not be able to see his face, but you immediately go, that's Jameis Winston. Number 5, right? If you saw a number 5 Clemson jersey walking around, even if it doesn't have Uwe Unglele on the back, you go, yo, that's DJ's number. That's DJ's jersey. So Ed O'Bannon, along with a handful of other athletes, Bill Russell, by the way, was included in that lawsuit, brought a class action antitrust lawsuit against the NCAA. Plaintiffs allege that the NCAA's rules and bylaws operated as an unreasonable restraint of trade because they preclude FBS football players and Division I men's basketball players from receiving compensation beyond the value of their athletic scholarships for the use of their names, images, and likenesses in video games, live game telecasts, rebroadcasts, and archival game footage. EA Sports and the Collegiate Licensing Company were both original co-defendants with the NCAA, but both of them departed from the case and settled for $40 million that netted as much as $4,000 to as many as 100,000 current and former athletes who had appeared in EA Sports NCAA basketball and NCAA football series of video games since 2003. 100,000 players took home about $4,000. Here's the thing. Somewhere was a right guard that played for, I don't know, the University of Washington that nobody knows except him and whoever walks in his office and sees his helmet. And he got a check for $4,000, and that's cool. But do you think guys like Reggie Bush, you think they maybe got a little bit more utilized by EA Sports in the NCAA? And this is the kind of stuff that is why Mark Emmert is not going to be smiled upon by the annals of history after he retires in 2023. Because these were the kind of situations that told the NCAA, hey, the winds, they are a-changin'. The times, they are a-changin'. You better get out ahead of this stuff and fix it. And they went, nah, we good. We good. We're just going to let this be. Let it be. Let it be. And they did. And it's chaos. And it's nothing but chaos. And because it's nothing but chaos, it's like, all right, good job doing nothing at all, Mark Emmert. You did a great job doing nothing at all. We're so proud of you. So proud of you. Anyway, just some thoughts. Just some thoughts. So to go back to Trey's question, can EA Sports make college games now with the NIL? Yes. Yes, they can. They're going to end up having to pay the players for it, though. Or the players will be allowed to opt out, right? It may very well be that the players go, no, you can't use me. I don't want my image in that game, and they got to make up another creative character. And what they'll have to do is they will have to create somebody that is clearly fictionalized, right? Remember, the reason that the NCAA lost the suit to O'Bannon, and that was a game changer, was because when O'Bannon played the game and he selected the classic team, the 95 UCLA Bruins, and he opened it up, number 31, his number, had the same height, same weight, same bald head, same skin tone, same left-handed shot. It was him. It was clearly a non-fictionalized version of him. It was everything except his name. So if they want to do that now, yes, I do think that they will have to go with a completely fictionalized version. And here's my question. If you pick up a copy of NCAA Football 2023 and you are a Clemson fan and you fire up that game and the starting quarterback of your 2022 Clemson Tigers is a, 5'11" white dude wearing number 13 that's left-handed, are you buying him to the immersion? No. You are picking up that game to play as your team, not a fictionalized version of it, right? So the model they're going to have to look at is the way that Madden works, right? Where Madden, by the way, pays all the players in the league to use their name and image and likeness in the game. And some players opt out. It's rare. But some players have opted out of appearing in Madden, and so Madden has to go with a fictionalized version, and they just hope you don't notice. I've seen it happen before. And when they do, like Bill Belichick, by the way, Bill Belichick, when you coach as the New England, or when you play as the New England Patriots in Madden, their coach is not Bill Belichick. He's opted out of the game. He is not part of the NFL Coaches Association, who licenses the coaches' likenesses, so they can't use them. The Players Association, I believe, runs a deal for them as well. Sean Payton, the year after the Saints won the Super Bowl, Sean Payton was not in the NFL Coaches Association. So when you played with the Super Bowl defending Saints, you didn't have Sean Payton as your coach. Not the end of the world, right? I bought it anyway. I didn't lose full emotion. But the NCAA is going to have to watch this situation play out. I'm intrigued. All right, let's do this. Let's run to a break. I know we're a couple of minutes early, but when we come back, we got to take a look at the first, at least 6 picks of the draft. Where does Carolina end up tomorrow? I got some thoughts. I'll hit you with them when we come back. My name is Rob Brown. He is Lonzo, and you are listening to South Carolina's finest sports talk radio show. According to the South Carolina Broadcasters Association, you are listening to the Rob Brown Show. You are listening to the Fan Upstate.
Prisma.
Tell you about my friends at Prisma Health of the Upstate, ladies and gentlemen. Prisma Health of the Upstate, with dozens of locations scattered across the Upstate. So no matter where you are when you find yourself in a situation where you need health care, Prisma Health is close to you. And they have got hundreds, maybe thousands, I don't know. I didn't count them all because there's like a lot of them, of healthcare professionals on their roster. So regardless of the healthcare needs that you have, you're going to find a doctor or healthcare professional that communicates well with you, communicates well with your family, that you and your family can trust with your healthcare needs. Isn't that what you want? At the end of the day, your health is the most important thing you have going. So when it's time to look after it, you want to make sure it is with somebody that you trust. That's why you need to check out my friends at Prisma Health. They are the official healthcare provider of the Clemson Tigers and the Gamecocks of South Carolina for a reason. It is because those two organizations trust Prisma Health to take care of their athletes. I take Prisma Health. I trust them to take care of me. Check them out online at prismahealth.org, prismahealth.org. It's our friends at Prisma Health right here in the Upstate.
I don't know what that is, Steven.
assuming it means Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
I'm guessing he means faces and heels.
Which I forgot to do yesterday. But we'll do draft today.
Yeah, draft is more important because it's more relevant and it's
Because you want to do it more than faces and heels.
well, no, it's tomorrow. So there's that it's tomorrow. Sorry,
Braden, welcome in, buddy. Good to have you, pal.
So if you wanted to hear it so bad, I would have turned it up for you.
No, it's all good. I didn't until I heard him saying something about we need to take our sports back, and I'm like, from what? Where are they? Where did they go? What? Y'all keep falling for dumb acts like Mad Dog Russo. Why is Mad Dog Russo a thing? If a grown man refers to himself as Mad Dog, I don't want anything to do with him.
Well, he has been around forever.
Don't care.
And founded
You're a grown-ass
Mad
man.
Dog
You can just
Radio.
call yourself your first name. Just call yourself Chris.
Back in the day, people used DJ names. And
No,
I'm
DJ fine is
guessing-
fine. DJ fake name is fine.
I'm guessing that's where that came from. There are people in radio stations all over the country, maybe even the world, who are not using their real name.
Again.
And yes,
don't care
Lonzo is my real name.
Don't care that you're using a fake name. Mad Dog is not your name. You're a grown man. You're Chris or Christopher or Chrissy or anything that's or just change it. If you don't want to be Chris Russo, be Mike Russo or Bob Russo.
That's a
or
good
Bill
point,
Russo.
Keegan. That just destroys everything that Rob's saying.
Okay, I'll tell you what. If you can kick my ass, you can call yourself whatever you want. I'm not afraid of Chris Mad Dog Russo.
But you've also said you've never been in a fight. So we don't know that you can fight since you've never been in a fight.
I took a solid 6 months of training from Roy Jones. I can throw a punch. I just haven't. Again, fake name I don't care about. But if he ever started calling himself Mad Dog Ryan on the air, I'd be like, no, stop. That's not, no.
Does it count all the other names that people are calling?
No, if other people start calling you a thing, it is what it is. You can't stop that.
I don't think you quite got the joke, but that's fine.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Crazy Pants Brown. Crazy Pants Brown here on the show. Like
Crazy Prince
stop.
Brown.
Yeah, right.
Hello, I'm Crazy
Can't
Prince
get the right
Brown.
joke.
We're
It's my own
prancing.
joke. Steven said, after a pair of concussions, be careful, Rob. Keegan said, Rob got beat up by a handrail. We were talking about the fact that there are some broadcasters. Listen, I don't have many opinions like this one. But there's a man on television right now who calls himself Mad Dog. That's what he calls himself. He's a grown-ass man in his 50s who refers to himself as Mad Dog.
So if you refer to yourself, there was a time in my life on radio when I referred to myself as the Fat Fabio, which was very, very accurate.
It's actually really funny, and I will allow it based on comedy sense. But
Okay, all right.
do you think he goes, I'm Mad Dog? Haha, that's hilarious. No, this guy genuinely has adopted the persona of a man who believes himself to be the Mad Dog. Listen, number one, you don't get to pick your own nicknames, okay? You do not pick your own nickname. Did you pick Fat Fabio? Because if so, that's actually really funny, and I'll allow it.
Yeah, I did, but it was for a rap thing, so
And
yeah.
it was I'm assuming like a bravado / ha-ha funny self-deprecating nickname. All right?
Absolutely. I'm, as we well know, into self-deprecation.
Yeah.
So,
But you don't pick your own nickname. All right?
actually, it was to point out how beautiful my hair was despite my size.
Respect.
Yes.
I get it. That's funny. It's comical. It works. This man just calls himself Mad Dog, as if I meet him in public, he's going to expect me to go, "Hello, Mad Dog, I'm Rob." And I'm not going to do it.
Mom, Dad, meet my new boyfriend,
Mad Dog. Yep, honey. Nope. That's going to be your ex-boyfriend, Mad Dog. Because I can't take a man who calls himself Mad Dog seriously. I can't do it. I can't do it. All right? I can't.
What if he talks like, "Hey, everybody, been in the hits. My name's Mad Dog on your radio. 24 hours of rock and roll."
Even like, if you are a rock DJ,
Throwing some dog growls in there every time you
Yeah.
say your name, you know, that type of thing. That was big back in the, I don't know, 40s and 50s.
you're listening to the FM Top 40 with Big Dog Rob right here on K-Rock. See, I had a fake name. I don't mind fake names. I had a fake name when I spun rock tunes down in Florida. I was Robbie Hebert, named after my favorite Saints quarterback, Bobby Hebert. Robbie Hebert was my stage name. I'm cool with a fake name, a stage name.
Did you go straight up Cajun now?
No, I didn't. I didn't change it. It's not the same way.
I'm disappointed.
If you were ever flipping channels and you would hear me from like 6 to 9 talking sports and then 9 to 12 spinning records. So if you left my show on the sports channel and flipped to our classic rock station, you'd hear the exact same guy, but all of a sudden my name was Robbie Hebert. It was dumb, but it made me laugh. All right? Mad Dog. All right, I can't talk about that anymore. You are a 50-year-old man. You are not Mad Dog. Just call yourself Chris. You're Chris. Hi, Chris. I'm Chris Russo. Hey, Chris.
So, you know, when he first started out and the Mad Dog thing started hitting, he started making money out of it. He has like a whole radio thing about it. Eventually he has to go, "You know what? I'm grown up now. I'm more established. I am no longer Mad Dog."
No, what you do is you let other people cut the bumpers calling you that, but you don't call yourself that. Right? Because if that's how this game works, cool. You may all call me the Sex Panther from now on. That's my name. Sex Panther Brown.
If you want to go with that, that's fine.
That's it.
The imaging alone would be awesome.
Hilarious.
But I'm not doing that.
Yeah. If he can call himself Mad Dog and people take him seriously, I am now Sex Panther Brown.
Trying to figure out why you went with Panther, but you know.
Sounds good. Sex Panther Brown. That's my new name. Please feel free to wear it out.
Hey, yeah, first time caller, long time listener, Sex Panther. I'd like to ask you a question.
Here's the best part. There's a better than average chance that my mother and 4-year-old nephew are watching this right now on the stream. Sorry, it is what it is. If he can get this famous to have terrible takes like this pop up by calling himself seriously Mad Dog, ladies and gentlemen, I am Sex Panther Brown. Welcome to the Sex Panther Show right here on the Fan Upstate.
Meow.
All right. NFL draft time. Let's I didn't expect that. Texas, I don't know, after calling yourself Prince Rob. Listen, on the stream, I was trying to call myself Prince. I was going to call myself Prince Rob, and then I went Crazy Pants Rob because I was making up dumb nicknames, and they combined. It is what it is. All right. Let's go mock draft. Let's go with the draft as it stands right now. Jacksonville Jaguars are officially on the clock, ladies and gentlemen. Jags are on the clock. They got the first overall pick coming up this evening. And listen.
It's tomorrow evening. You know,
tomorrow evening.
That's fine. It's fine. You're good.
Listen.
Mad Dog's really got him messed up, so, you know.
Sex Panther Brown does not make mistakes.
See, you know what you've done. Look at the stream. I'm sure the text line's doing the same thing.
Surprisingly not. Surprisingly not.
You know you want Sex Panther to show up on the text line just so
I gotta figure out.
our friends at WRD will also wonder what in the world is going on over there.
Do me a favor. All of you with a phone, just text "Hello Sex Panther" to the text line. Just do that for me if you don't mind.
71307.
Yep.
Don't put fan in front of it though.
No, just send "Hello Sex Panther" to the brand. Please and thank you. Also, I got to figure out how to turn our names back on so I can change mine to Sex Panther Brown. Is the Jaguars picks first round pick overall, is it Aiden Hutchinson? Welp, maybe, but the Jaguarsiest Jaguars thing would be to not pick who everybody predicts to be the number 1 overall draft. Second off, here's my question, Lonzo. Texture says, Rob, you know Russo has been Mad Dog forever, right? For decades. Maybe I'm missing your point. Yes, the point is you're a grown man calling yourself Mad Dog. Is that not weird? It's just a little weird to me. Texture says, hi, Sex Panther. I've got some questions about bumps. Does the text line receive pictures? Oh, God. I may have started something that I didn't want to start. And it does not involve bumps. All right. So, will Jax draft Aiden Hutchinson? That is the question, because if they do not, if they go in a different direction, it could reset the rest of the draft. Because remember, after Jacksonville comes Detroit. If Detroit is sitting there with Jared Goff and all 3 quarterbacks on the board, they might very well decide to go in a different direction and trade back, right? So what happens with Jacksonville at number 1 could very, very heavily influence what happens to Carolina at number 6. Now, there have been reports that Carolina is very interested in bringing in Baker Mayfield, but there have also been counter reports that they have zero interest in bringing in Baker Mayfield. However, one report dropped today, Lonzo, and I'm assuming that that's what you were about to tell me.
Yes.
Carolina Panther, in fact, no, this isn't breaking. It happened earlier this morning. It happened, yesterday afternoon. Carolina Panthers GM Scott Fitterer has told Sam Darnold that there is, quote, a pretty good chance, end quote, that the team will add a quarterback during the upcoming draft weekend. And the official response from Panther Nation, Lonzo, was, and I quote, duh, end quote. Like yes. Now, the only question to me was not, will they bring in a quarterback? There were only 2 questions. And the questions were, A, which quarterback will it be? And B, where will that quarterback come into the fold? Now, here's why what the Jaguars do matter. Aiden Hutchinson is considered by many scouts, if not most, to be the best available player in this draft. The defensive end out of Michigan. Sitting just behind him is Trayvon Walker, the defensive end out of Georgia. Considered by many to be the second best player in this draft. So both the 1 and 2 best players in this draft, if you follow along with scouts, are both defensive ends. If Jacksonville passes on Trayvon Walker, on Aiden Hutchinson and takes Trayvon Walker, and there are some reports that is what's going to happen, Detroit's pick becomes much more valuable at number 2. Because there are going to be a lot of teams that go, Detroit, hold up. You got little draft capital, a defensive end. I mean, this caliber defensive end helps anybody. But if we're being honest with each other, Detroit, a defensive end doesn't help you that much at the 2, right? Let me trade. Let me get
It's
Aiden.
Detroit. What does?
Anything? More draft picks primarily, right? My answer, honestly, my after thinking about it for 10 seconds, my honest answer to that is what helps Detroit the most? More draft picks. That's what helps them. Like 60 players, even if they're all in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds. More draft picks. So, if somebody takes Detroit pick there, Lonzo, they're coming up for Aiden Hutchinson. Yeah? That's my thought, which puts Houston on the board at number 3. Houston's got their quarterback. Assuming that Trayvon Walker comes off the board to Jacksonville first and Aiden Hutchinson goes off the board second to not Houston, but whoever traded there, because they believe that by trading to number 2, they get the best player in the draft in Aiden Hutchinson. That sits you there now with number 3. That's the Houston Texans. Now, the Texans have said publicly, although remember, until literally Sunday, it is smokescreen season, yeah? It's smokescreen season. Houston has said we got our guy. Davis Mills is our starter. By the way, Davis Mills was not atrocious last year. I mean, he wasn't breaking ground, but he wasn't atrocious. He was, I don't know, serviceable. Say he did well enough. He was serviceable. So, the question here will be, does Houston take a QB? If they have a smokescreen up by saying Davis Mills is their guy, they could take a quarterback there, and it could change it up. But I don't think that it does. I don't think they go quarterback there. The question's going to be, do they trade back out of that spot? And keep in mind that the Jaguars could still trade. The Lions could trade. The Texans could trade. The more I think about it. In fact, I was looking yesterday evening at the ESPN cumulative mock draft where they kind of take all their experts and put them in a room and have them mock it out. And they had the Jaguars trading out of number 1 to the Jets because the Jets have wanted every free agent wide receiver this offseason and got none of them, including what Tyreek did to them. I'm in. Oh, no, Miami. Never mind. I'm out. See ya. Gave them the peace sign on the way down to South Florida. So the rumor is, the speculation from the ESPN mock draft is that the Jaguars trade with the Jets, who give them the 4th and 10th overall picks in order to get the 1st overall. And the Jags' 2nd round pick as well to bring in a wide receiver. I don't know. Also think that the Detroit Lions could trade back out. Think that the Texans could trade back out. Think the Jets could trade back out. Think the Giants could trade back. The more I think about it, as we are now here at draft day before draft day, T-1 till draft day. Lonzo, I could genuinely make a realistic argument for why all 5 teams ahead of the Carolina Panthers trade back and trade out. Here's the problem for Carolina. If you come into this looking for a QB, you've got to get ahead of Carolina, right? Because that's where Carolina's likely going. The problem for Carolina is with all 5 teams ahead of the Panthers willing to trade back and out of their picks, and Carolina not having the firepower to trade up, right? They can only trade back. They cannot trade up.
Is this not one of the cooler drafts in a while? Because we have no idea what's going to happen. There could be absolute chaos in the first 5 or 6 picks.
It really could. I could see. I mean, theoretically, all 5 teams could trade back.
And this is all because the quarterback class
is questionable.
Yes.
You're exactly right. I was just about to say that. That is spot on. The quarterback class is pedestrian. Maybe Malik Willis is a star. Maybe. I don't feel about him the way I felt about Lamar Jackson. When Lamar Jackson came out, I said, that kid's a stud. That kid's a star. I don't feel the same way about Malik. Malik looks to me as a cat that has all of the tools to be an absolute star. But I don't know if he's got it. We won't know till he gets on the field. Kenny Pickett. Drew Brees size with question mark of the ability. No idea. Probably the most NFL ready. Does that mean he can stay in there and make the throws? We're going to find out. Matt Corral. Matt Corral's a guy most of us seeing go late in the first round in a draft where there are 8 but 3 quarterbacks for the first round, and he's going that late in a quarterback-driven league. I got no faith in Matt Corral at the next level, right? But it is a quarterback league. It is a quarterback league. So, do we have anybody jump ahead of Carolina? And if the answer is yes, does Carolina risk a quarterback that they did not have top of the board? They've apparently already told Sam Darnold, yo, we're looking QB. Just heads up, we're going QB here. Does that change? And is that a smokescreen, right? Scott Fitter could have called Darnold and been like, listen, I'm not drafting a quarterback. I'm not drafting a quarterback. Repeat, I'm not drafting a quarterback. I'm going to say I'm drafting a quarterback because what happens if the Panthers at 6 say we're looking quarterback? Everybody else who wants a quarterback trades up ahead of them into the top 5. If 2 or 3 teams trade ahead of Carolina into the top 5 and take quarterbacks, what's that do? Pushes back Evan Neal. Pushes back Aquame. Pushes back Cross. Pushes back Walker. Pushes back Hutchinson. Right? If Carolina, by telling Darnold, we're not going to take a quarterback, but we're going to tell the media we are because we want teams to jump up. And for every team that we can get to jump ahead of us and take a QB, that pushes one of those top 3 offensive linemen back to 6, right? 2 defensive ends are coming off the board between 1 through 5. I guarantee it. Walker and Hutchinson are coming off the board probably 1 and 2. 3, 4, and 5 are open. If you can get 1 or 2 of those quarterbacks off the board, that means that one of those 3 offensive tackles fall back to you, right? If you can get, let's say, Malik and Kenny Pickett off the board between 3, 4, and 5, that means Akeem Ekwonu from NC State, Evan Neal from Alabama, or Charles Cross from Mississippi State. All stay on the board for you. Or maybe Kayvon Thibodeau. The point is, don't take Scott Fitterer telling Sam Darnold that he's taking a quarterback as gospel. Because this may just be a smokescreen. Or it's 100% true. And they are going QB. And they're just going to take whoever's left when they get there. My thought here is they go offensive tackle, they get Baker Mayfield. I still am falling in. That's the lineup that makes the most sense to me. 844-FAN phone, 844-FANFONE. Text us on the Preferred Home Services text line 71307. Panthers fans, what do you like tomorrow? What do you like at 6? How do you see it playing out? I think you smokescreen. You try to convince people you're taking a QB. You try to force 1 or 2 or all 3 of the offensive tackles to fall. You get one of them. You get Baker Mayfield. You got a vet QB and a left tackle to protect his blind spot. How do you feel about it, Panthers fans? 71307, start your text with FAN. You can tweet us at The Rob Brown Show, at Lonzo one word, at The Fan Upstate, at The Fan Upstate. Let's take a break. Come back here in just a minute. We got Twitter trending topics, a few more draft thoughts to wrap it all up. His name is Lonzo. My name is Sex Panther Brown. You're listening to The Fan Upstate.
Now I'm just gonna have to find some obnoxious Sex Panther.
Also, Sex Panther comes from Anchorman.
Does it? Okay. I've never seen it.
It's easy to think all money managers are pretty much the same, but at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different how? Sell high commission investment products, right?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission-based investment products.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Nope, never at Fisher. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our client's best interest. It's the highest standard of care for a financial advisor.
How do you know what's in their best interest?
We get to know our clients and then tailor a portfolio based on their goals and needs.
But you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No, we have one transparent management fee, structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, you really do look out for your clients.
That's because our top priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. It might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments and securities involve the risk of loss.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle.
He used the word is
Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free
Fanbox.
at ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you; it finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast.
Shut down
An amazing player.
in a blaze of glory.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
It's not like
ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
You're not a bust. Me, and certainly maybe for Andrew, Kevin Durant, super fan coach. With their team facing a literal.
That's not gonna work.
Special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses and future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. You heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. And open phone line.
Saw Game Pass is expanding their deal with Ubisoft, including they're going to start putting Assassin's Creed games on.
Love it.
And the first one is Origins, and I don't think I ever played
Never
Origins.
played Origins. The one reason is they just all got so like spread out across different spaces that
still the last one is my second favorite of all time, next to Black Flag. So
I love Black Flag. I still play Black Flag every now and then.
but also the last one, you're on boats and you go and you raid places.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool. Jumping out of the boats with all your Viking buddies and raiding places.
I think that's the only one I haven't played. See, because I think I've told you this. When it started getting away from like a realistic take and started bringing in all of the mythological stuff, I was like, I'm out. But if you're gonna just go full tilt into Norse mythology and whatnot, okay, I'm back in now. When it got away from
I was going to
the
say,
Assassins versus the Templars and what could have been a real storyline, I was like,
there are assassins and Templars in the with the Norsemen.
well, I'm sure. Texas says, "Hey, Sex Panther Brown, will you be pole sliding upside down after you get off?" No, my pole sliding days of all types are over. All right, they just are. Texas says, "Isn't Roberto the Sex Panther Marron an actual luchador?" Can we do the research on that, or is somebody just making me say bad things on the radio?
Yeah, I'm not looking that up. You go right ahead.
I'm doing it.
All right, so
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I may or may not regret this. I may or may not regret this. Oh, okay. I don't see anything popping up, so you may have just been... Okay, never mind. I should stop reading text. Just forever. Just forever.
That's not true. Text line 71307. He will continue to read the text line.
And yes, for the third person who's made the point, I know that he's been called what he's been called for 30 years. You're missing the point that I don't care. I don't care. If I'm at a bar and somebody walks up to me and goes, "Hey, man, nice to meet you. I'm Mad Dog." I'm not going to go,
All right, what's the
"Sup, Mad
difference?
Dog?"
What's the difference between that and saying, "I'm Clemson Joe. I'm Clemson Bob. I'm Clemson whatever."
If I'm being honest, I've never liked that either.
Okay,
Just be Joe.
I'm just checking.
Just be Bob.
I'm just checking.
And it's always weird because you get the guys that call in and don't, at least you're using your name attached to it. Yeah. Right? Like, at least you're using your name. If you call in, you're like, "Hey, it's Tiger Tony." I'm like, all right, he's a Clemson fan. Wants everybody to know, but his name's Tony. And you'll notice when we get those calls, I don't call that person Tiger Tony the rest of the call. It's just Tony. But there's one guy I heard call into a competitor station not too long ago, and his on-air name was like Clemson Forever. That's his name. That's what he went by. And the host is like, "Yo, welcome to the show, Clemson Forever. How you doing?" "No, I'm not." "What? No. What's your name?" "Bill." "Just be Bill then." "What do I want my name on the radio?" "No one can see you. You're just Bill."
Maybe they're hiding behind the nickname because they don't think anyone will recognize their voice.
Witness protection.
And all those guys are the ones whose voices are the most recognizable.
Yeah. Anyway, appreciate you guys listening to the Sex Panther show here on the Fan Upstate today.
And now, the Rob Brown Show
Sure.
presents
Might as well.
Trending Topics.
Might as well.
I'd rather interrupt you, but I mean, there was a long pause
Yeah.
there as you were trying to think if you want to go any further
I
with the
just
Sex
realized I
Panther.
regretted the last 30 minutes of this show.
All right, time for Twitter trending topics, where I tell Rob what is trending on the internet, and he will tell us what and why it's trending. All right, Travis Kelce is trending, which scared me.
I was
by the
gonna
way,
say,
yeah, scared
Which
me.
means that Lonzo was a bag of nerves for about 22 seconds until he clicked and found out that it's Travis Kelce's birthday. Or he's got COVID or he died, one or the other.
No, actually, dude, don't do that.
Those are the only three things people trend for.
No, it's not. Sometimes they trend for no reason at all, and you can't figure out why. But he's trending because he and his buddy Patrick Mahomes just won the Justin Timberlake golf tournament.
Ah, so Patrick Mahomes won the golf tournament, and then Travis Kelce was also there.
Come
Respect
on,
that.
come on. You got to give Kelce some love. He can play too.
I don't. Roger said, "Has Vince's producer called him fuss yet?" I texted and said, "Zoe is a Sex Panther."
That's pretty funny.
I love it.
I'm sure Vince is probably laughing about
love
it
it.
too. The next thing that's trending, I still can't believe you're not giving Travis Kelce any love. His golf game is probably,
He beat me.
I was
no
going
doubt.
to say,
He
more
beat
than
me.
likely. Yeah.
But then again, like professional athletes, like 25% of your life is playing your sport, 25% of your life is practicing for your sport, 50% of your life is golf and other awesome things for fun. It sounds great.
I was going to say, that sounds okay to me.
Yeah.
And
100%.
all right, the next thing is trending is Shawn Michaels.
He's just a sexy boy. Sexy boy. He's not your boy toy. I don't know why he's trending. I'm assuming it's because there was a tweet the other day that said, what you see when I'm listening to music, and it had like a guy in a suit and tie. And then it was like what I'm actually listening to, and it was Shawn Michaels' theme song.
All right, so that's not why, but that's cool. Harry Styles just put out some sort of picture of him on his head, and instead people are saying, you're no Shawn Michaels, and that's Shawn Michaels is trending because of that. So they're putting side by sides of Shawn Michaels like on his head. Twitter's weird, man.
Twitter's weird.
Twitter is very weird.
Twitter is super weird.
All right, the next thing that's trending is Chip and Dale.
Chip and Dale. Rescue Rangers. Chip and Dale.
They crave danger.
Yes. They are making a, what do you call it? I guess live action / animated.
Yeah.
Like a crossover Chip and Dale, which I'm interested in. I saw the trailer drop, and it basically looks like it's made for us.
By the way,
it's made for
new trailer just
trailer
dropped.
drop. I mean,
like today.
it seems to be made for people my age, right? Like this movie's not for your kids. Like John Mulaney is the voice, and it's gonna have throwbacks to all the Roger Rabbit cartoons. But I believe Chip got an update to where he's CGI, but Dale stayed old school animated, and it's gonna be like I don't know. I'm in. It looked hilarious, and it's made with dirty jokes. That's it for us. Maybe we'll be back tomorrow. He's Lonzo. I'm Sex Panther Brown. Have a great day on the Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate.
Sex Panther.
Thanks for hanging out, stream. I appreciate you guys.